This interview is for information only and should not be considered as investment advice or a recommendation to buy shares in the company featured. Welcome to this Stock Box interview. Joining us today is Sam Garrett, the CEO of Great Southern Copper. Thank you very much for joining us today. Sam, for the first time, how are you?
Good morning, Mark. I'm very well, thanks. Nice to talk to you.
Well, it's good to be speaking to you for the first time. I know you're calling from Tasmania over in Australia, so a big time difference there. But I wonder if you can start us off by just giving us perhaps the introduction to the company or the high-level overview of what you're all about.
Sure. Great Southern Copper PLC or GSC is a junior exploration company based in the UK. We listed on the LSE main board a little under 2 years ago. Our projects are located in Chile, and we're exploring for copper gold, and we've recently added a third project to our portfolio for lithium. So both the copper gold projects we've been working up steadily over the last 5 years, even prior to listing. And we've announced recently that we're ready to start a drill program at our Specularita project, where we're going to be drill testing 2 high-grade copper and copper gold targets.
Okay.
Aside from that, we've recently completed a small raising of £905,000. Which is dedicated to drilling a further 2 targets in our project pipeline for Specularita. They're the Aurelia Skarn and the Victoria mesothermal copper, gold, silver targets. So a lot of activity for the company over the coming sort of 6 to 8 months.
Okay. So just going through some of the projects, then you've got 3 projects, you say. So you've got 2 which are copper, gold, and 1 which is lithium. Okay, well, let's talk about the lithium first. That's a recent addition to the portfolio, isn't it? So whereabouts is that located, and what's its prospectivity looking like?
Yeah, so it's located in the Salar de Atacama in northern Chile, which is within the sort of the lithium triangle of northern Chile, southern Bolivia, and northwest Argentina.
Yeah.
Chile, as you know, or I'm sure you know, and your listeners will know, is the second largest producer of lithium after Australia. But in Chile and in that lithium triangle, all the Chile is sourced from lithium-rich brines. So that differentiates it from the Australian hard rock lithium scenario. The issue for Chile is that they feel that they're lagging behind in the production of lithium relative to Argentina, which has seen a flurry of activity within their salars. Lots of Canadian, Australian, American companies investing, and European companies investing lots of money in developing their projects in that region. And Chile is very keen to catch up and indeed overtake. They are currently, they have 2 large companies, SQM or Socomich, and Albemarle, the US company, mining lithium, both at the Salar de Atacama. So we feel very comfortable with our applications in that region. So we've strategically chosen the Salar de Atacama as our initial target region for lithium. We did from the outset, and indeed in the prospectus of the listing of the company, we highlighted that we were looking for, and we will sort of target a third project to add to the company's portfolio. We didn't expect it to be a lithium project, but more than happy that it is. And I think these days that the lithium makes a good fit with copper. So we've strategically targeted initially the Salar de Atacama because of its size, It's also the highest grade lithium salar in that region, albeit that the Bolivian salar hasn't been developed yet. And our projects are strategically located adjacent to SQM and other players in the region, targeting what we interpret as large-scale structures that are potential fluid feeders to the salar. So if we're correct, and the aim will be to test that over the coming years, we'll be able to determine if those large structures are feeding the salar with lithium-rich brines, and we'll be able to put those brine fluids in production.
Okay, well, so you're talking there about production already. I mean, what work have you got to do? I mean, is this very much a greenfield, no exploration been done so far, or do you have a bit of an idea of what might be there? And then how you talked about testing the feeding of the salar. What's the next steps here to actually do that?
That's very much a greenfields project, albeit that there are development operations in play, and large ones, within on our borders. So basically, we will be testing the margins of the salar, and there'll be a number of exploration sort of strategies we'll choose.
Okay.
It'll be initially grassroots exploration, sampling the surface material. There'll be geophysics involved.
Okay.
The salt beds can be seen in electromagnetic or electrical geophysical techniques. So yeah, there'll be quite a body of work to do before we invest in drilling. Those projects, but that is the end game.
Good. Okay. Well, that's good to hear on that. So let's talk about the gold and the copper projects. And you've got two of them again. So what state are these projects at? And you mentioned earlier you've raised money. You want to actually start a drilling program. So give us a bit of an idea of where they are and what you want to achieve with the drilling program.
That's right. Our two copper gold projects, San Lorenzo and Especularita, are strategically located in the coastal metallogenic belt of Chile. And we have specifically chosen that belt because of its logistical capability. We're near to roads, power, ports, and very importantly, in the modern Chilean mining context, we're close to seawater. So at low elevation, if and when we're successful in discovering copper or gold deposits, our capex costs, if you like, will be significantly lower, being 50 kilometres from the coast and at 1,000 metres elevation, will be significantly lower than if we're at 4,500 metres and 200 kilometres from the coast. So we're near to towns, so we've got good access to an excellent workforce who are very familiar with the mining space. So all those logistical features go to making exploration in the coastal metallogenic belt a lot easier for a small company like us. So we're not BHP. Let's be honest. But having said that, the coastal metallogenic belt is historically and currently very well endowed with copper and gold deposits. So it is a very valid target for a company such as ourselves. There are big porphyry copper mines in the belt, such as Teck's Carmen Andacollo project, and the work we're seeing with companies such as Hot Chili, for example, and more recently Tribeca, their announcements, validate our decision to explore in this district. So at Especularita, for example, GSC enjoys a very large footprint of concessions, and we've gone to a lot of trouble to include what we believe is a very large portion of a mineral system, an entire mineral system, from porphyry copper to high sulfidation copper gold to skarn copper gold deposits. And the system at Speculita is centered on what's known as a lithocap. And it's a porphyry copper exploration term or mining term, but it basically refers to the alteration of rocks that sit above, known porphyry deposits.
Mm-hmm.
So we control a large portion of that lithocap. Lithocap is about 35 square kilometres in area.
Mm-hmm.
And then surrounding the lithocap is a significant number of what you would call sort of satellite prospects, which are typically high-grade copper gold, silver, or just copper type systems. And this is the classic porphyry environment. You have the large, big, central, low to medium grade copper deposit,
mm-hmm.
and surrounding it, usually structurally controlled, surrounding it, you have these high grade, smaller deposits, but can be very valuable.
Okay.
So our work to date has identified 4 individual high grade targets.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Abundante, which is a tourmaline breccia pipe, which we're about to start drilling.
Okay.
Teresita, which is a mesothermal copper gold rich quartz vein breccia system, about 5 kilometres long in cumulative length. It's a big system. And then we have the Aurelia Skarn high grade gold system to the southern end, which isn't far from Pucobre's El Espino deposit that they're in the process of developing.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the Victoria mesothermal copper gold silver system, which is sitting right up against the lithocap. So, within our borders, we've got 5 different types of copper gold deposit.
Sure.
So
okay.
Extremely exciting for us. And we're about to start drilling the first one.
Yeah.
And the second one after that, and that's budgeted and paid for from our May raising. And we've got 2 new projects, Aurelia and Victoria, that we plan to drill in the first half of next year.
Okay.
And that's budgeted and paid for by our recent £905,000 raising. And I'm very confident that by the time we come to drill those, our pipeline will be even longer for drill projects. So a lot to look forward to for our stakeholders and shareholders in the next sort of 6 to 8 months, leading into the next 2 years of exploration activity.
And what's the point of the drilling? What's the objective you want to achieve? Is it to test this lithocap you mentioned, or to sort of test the extent of perhaps a porphyry discovery, or to understand the geology? What's the objective you want to achieve from this program?
No, in this program, we're targeting the high-grade satellite deposits.
Okay. So you're looking for mineralization.
Yep, and we've announced over the year in our development of those satellite prospects, we've announced sort of high grades of copper and gold. So at Abundante, for example, our crop samples are up to 3.5% copper,
mm-hmm.
And it's an existing, I should say, it's an historical mine. And you can see the copper, very coarse grained, high grade copper in the walls of the mine. So we're going to be testing that prospect, beneath the historical workings, which go down to approximately 45 metres. So these are scout holes to give us an understanding of what the mineralisation is doing and how it's developing at depth. Because as a small company, for Teresita, for example, it's a 5 kilometre long system. It's extremely large. We can't afford to rush in and drill 5,000 metres all in one hit. So we're giving ourselves a little poke at it, to understand the system, which will drive our future exploration efforts. And,
Okay.
On the bigger scale.
On the bigger scale. Okay, so it's a look and see as an initial get off the ground. Okay, and then it could set up for a very busy 24 of drilling.
24, 25, 26 plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for your time today introducing the company there. Sam Garrett, the CEO of Great Southern Copper.
Thanks, Mark. Very nice to talk to you.
If you enjoyed this interview, then give us a thumbs up, a like or a retweet. Subscribe to us on YouTube or follow us on Twitter and hit that notification bell to be the first to know when we release new content. There's loads of great content on our website too, across all our programs at stopboxmedia.com. Thank you for watching.